Alright guys, welcome back to the Dark Souls 3 all-in-one guide. In this episode we're going to be going through the Catacombs of Carthus. Now I'm going to make a blessed bandit knife to make my life a little bit easier because there are some skeletons that you have to kill twice. A blessed weapon or shield has healing properties, and the higher you upgrade it, the faster your regen is going to be. So this will be your third of 15 infusions, the blessed gem. And what I recently discovered was gems like the Blessed Gem and the Simple Gem that have regeneration properties, one for health, one for focus points. If you put an item in your left hand and an item in your right hand with the same gem, it's going to stack. So you can stack the regeneration on top of upgrading your weapon or item to make it go even faster. Now, let's continue Honore's quest. Make sure to exhaust all of her dialogue and Horus, which is just a grunt. And now we're going to go get Patch's Squat, the next Master of Expression, 21 out of 26. You can get this as soon as you get Patch's back to Firelink. Just make sure to reset the area, and if he's squatting like this, as you approach him, he'll give you the gesture. Patches is a very good merchant. You can get coins from him, rusted coins, to help with item discovery, which I'm going to buy a lot of those because I'm going to be grinding for a lot of weapons and covenant items in the future. So it's always good to have a lot of these on hand. And human pine resin is another good item he sells. I like to have some of that on hand. Now at this point, since we have Patches as our merchant, if you would like, you can grind the Cathedral Evangelist near the Cathedral of the Deep Bonfire to get another blessed gem so you can stack the effect. I did it with my Cestus. It's not necessary, but it is nice to have double the regeneration. And I'm going to do the same thing when I get my hands on the simple infusions so I can always be regenerating focus points. Just ignore everything I'm doing on the screen right now. I tried an initial setup to kill the Abyss Watchers, and this is not my final recommendation, so just ignore all this. But for the Abyss Watchers, your first Lord of Cinders boss, you will get an achievement for killing them. The main thing you want to do is stack fire defense for the second phase. So you want red bug pellets and the fire stone plate ring you should have, and you can also use the flash sweat spell, which you should have if you've been following this guide. This is going to help you with the fire damage that you're most likely going to sustain in the second phase of the Abyss Watchers. But the number one thing you want is lightning pine resin for this boss. Now you don't have it readily available at first, but you should have a couple from the High Wall of Lothric, and you can buy a couple from the Handmaiden. Here's your final recommendation. I want lightning pine resin, green blossoms, red bug pellets, some more stamina with the Chloranthy ring, the Lord's sword ring, and of course the fire stone plate ring. And I do recommend having flash sweat. Now, on the way to the Abyss Watchers, you're likely to aggro a few enemies along the way, so I just kill them so I don't have to deal with them. So there's the first guy around this tree. You can just backstab him because he'll see you and he'll follow you all the way to the fog wall. There's another guy sitting here but if you don't go too far to the left, you won't aggro the other guys. So just backstab this guy. I think I drew his aggro. Yep. Now they have a nice dagger that I'm going to showcase later. The Rotten Dagger, the Guru Rotten Dagger. It's very good for poison. And if you infuse it with poison, on top of it having innate poison, you're really looking at some good poison procs quickly. Just check your 6 to make sure nobody is on your tail here. You can buff before going over these stairs here. I would recommend doing all your buffs and then walk in. Main thing you're watching for are charges. You can get behind the Abyss Watcher when he charges you like this, and you can backstab him. It's very effective. Even if you don't get the backstab, go to town with your dagger or whatever weapon you're using. Hopefully it's lightning infused. Now, as soon as the friend comes, just back off. But keep the initial Abyss Watcher locked on so you know which one is the real one. Now, he'll get distracted and allow you to do another backstab. And then you can finish him off, and that's phase 1 done. For phase 2, try to buff as much as you can with fire resistance. I managed to get off the flash sweat, but I couldn't get the red bug pellets off. Because I had to prepare because he was coming in. There's one attack you're looking for, and this is it. When he does this 3-hit combo that ends with a slam, that is your number 1 opportunity to get a backstab. And it's basically what you're trying to fish it out every time. It's the safest and most efficient way to kill the Abyss Watchers. And here it goes again. We don't really have time to buff again, but the backstabs are sufficient enough for now. You have to watch out for that wall of flame that he will create as well when he charges sometimes. But this is pretty much the strategy. You're going to back off and wait for it again. Here I got a little hit and a little hit again and then another hit again for a good reason to stack fire defense. There's your number 1 opportunity right there again to backstab. If you stay relatively close to him, he will try that attack. And here it comes again. And that's it. That is the easiest way to kill the Abyss Watchers that I've found. Alright guys. I made a big mistake here. I didn't know it was a mistake. It's a glitch for some reason, and I've done this twice. If you light the bonfire here after killing the Abyss Watchers and just go back to the fire link without going forward and unlocking the entrance to the catacombs, you're going to glitch Hawkward, and that's who we're dealing with next. We want to get the Farron ring from him after killing the Abyss Watchers, and we want his shield. And it goes into the graveyard at Firelink. And if you go to Firelink like I do here, without opening that entrance, he will not be there. And you'll have to reset the area several times, and it still won't work until you activate the entrance. So I'm just going to edit this out here, and I realized I had to come back. You have to activate that entrance. Even though I activated the entrance, I still couldn't get everything to work properly. I tried this a few times, and I realized as long as you walk forward right after killing the Abyss Watchers, everything will happen the way it's intended to. So I'm going to go back to Firelink again. I edited it out again because I had to quit out like 4 or 5 times to get this to work properly. So I'm going to edit it all out. Now he's here. Hawkward will be sitting right there. If he's not sitting there, then that's probably why. Just keep exhausting his dialogue until you get the next ring, your 24th out of 107, the Farron's ring, which will decrease the usage of focus points for when you're using a skill by a quarter, 25%. Now we're going to reactivate the area again to get the shield. After you get the Farron ring, reactivate the area and go into the graveyard. Just a quick left as soon as you go down the stairs. Now I'm going to prep for the beginning of the catacombs here. You want to have a blessed weapon if possible. You definitely want the Slumbering Dragon Crest ring, and I'm putting on the Sapphire Aldridge's Sapphire and the Lingering Dragon Crest ring. Again, this is just how I'm playing it. You could do whatever you want. I'm going to have 2 blessed items. One the Cestus, and one is the blessed knife, bandit knife, because I can stack the effect. I have already farmed for my second gem. I did this off video. Now I hate dogs so much that I'm just going to overkill this dog. We're not going to be using Fire Orb anytime soon, but here is the Hawkward shield. Now this shield aesthetically matches my garb, but it's actually a very good shield for fire defense. Innately it already has like 50 something resistance to fire, but we're going to infuse it with a fire gem and increase it by even more.
Ashen one. Well,
Now I'm only focused on dex right now. I want to get my dex to 40, so I'm going to get it to 20 here. I don't really need to focus on attunement anymore because the focus points aren't really going to be a problem because I have ways to regenerate my focus points. And I don't even need to sacrifice my Estus anymore either. We're going to infuse the Hawkward Shield with the Fire Gem to increase the fire defense even further.
Be careful.
That'll be our main fire shield for the time being. So, focus points. We don't have any Ashen Estus, but that's okay. We don't need to sacrifice our Estus anymore because we have the Aldrich's Sapphire, which we got in the Cathedral of the Deep. I did mention that this gives you focus points back, but you have to get a critical attack, whether that being a riposte or a backstab. Now, these two attacks are situational, which may make you think, well, I can't get those all the time. But with the build that I've created, I can get backstabs anytime I want. So my thinking is, I cast Hidden Body, uses up some focus points, get a backstab, get it back. And the more backstabs you get, the better. Now, the skeletons. The first type of skeleton you're going to encounter are the ones that have white eyes. These will respawn one time. But to avoid having to kill it twice, if you use the blessed weapon, like I have the blessed bandit knife there, you don't have to do that. Now, you get the Carthus Rouge, you'll need that for an NPC coming up. Now, walk up a little bit, don't go too far, cast Hidden Body. Now, just run past this guy. Now, there are two skeletons that are going to come out. Sometimes one of them will get stuck, like one's getting kind of stuck here. Now, I just backstab one. Well, you try to backstab one. And you'll get a little bit of focus back. We're going to recast. You just got to keep a timer in your head because it's like 20 seconds. With the Lingering Dragon Crest Rings, like 20 seconds of invisibility. Again, just back off. And sometimes this guy will just walk off, commit suicide. Now, very important here. Don't go to the left. There's a headless skeleton that will aggro. Don't let him see you. Just cast Hidden Body again, and then I'm going to cast Spook as well so I don't get any damage from the fall. I'm trying to keep my health topped off so I'll get the maximum damage because I'm wearing the sword ring. And as you can see, we're abusing this pretty much. We kind of messed that up a little bit, but we're still going to get him. There's another guy patrolling here. He didn't see anything. We're still invisible. As long as they look at you and don't see anything, they'll just continue on their way. And these skeletons are particularly difficult, so you just don't want to get into a fight with them too much. Now, the game gives you 3 different options to travel in this area, but we want to take this route right here, this one, because this leads to Onray, and we need to exhaust their dialogue to continue their quest line. I like to get my throwing daggers out because I'm going to be dealing with a crystal lizard. But yeah, exhaust all the dialogue. Make sure it's exhausted. Don't enter this next area. You want to throw a throwing knife at the crystal lizard to make it commit suicide and stick to the far right side there. If you do it that way, the skeleton across the way will not be firing at you. You stay out of their aggro range. Now I'm just going to cast Hidden Body again and just run past these skeletons. They're just not worth my time. We want to get our throwing knives back out, though, because this next skeleton, I call him the Matrix skeletons, he's got his back against the wall, so you cannot backstab him. But if you throw a throwing dagger at him, throwing knife, get him away from the wall, just back up and use Hidden Body again. Now he's away from the wall, we can backstab him. And we need to get our focus points up because they've been exhausted quite a bit. We'll get yet another backstab and more focus points. And then we can just finish them off. Be wary of the skeleton that's going to be firing at you right away. You get the sharp gem. Stick to this wall, and there's a hidden wall here. Now, a blessed weapon because this guy will respawn once. You'll get another pyromancy tome here. And this skeleton will not see you coming, not hear you coming, so another free backstab. Now we're going back into the main area, except we were on the bottom side last time we entered it. But now we're going to be on the top side coming in from the top. So there's a trap here you can kill the skeleton with. It doesn't always work. It's kind of finicky. The skeleton's got to be just in the right place. I think I hit him once here. But you don't really want to kill him because I can use him for another backstab. Archers are easy to backstab. Well, I say that and then I have to have a dance with him. Even more focus points there. Now there's going to be 2 more skeletons that rise up right here as you approach. But we want to go ahead and cast Hidden Body right here and go down the stairs to get this headless skeleton. The one we didn't want to aggro at first when we first entered the area. Now our focus points are almost topped off, but we're going to use Hidden Body yet again. There are 2 more skeletons down here of the headless variety. Sometimes one might approach, just do a roll, dodge out of the way, and it's all about range. If you're too close, they'll know something's wrong and they'll try to attack. Just keep this in mind if you're trying to get a backstab. Now we're going to go back the way we came to the very beginning where we entered. And we're going to take the other side so that the archers will not try to kill us if we're going to go down the ramp. And I don't recommend going down that ramp with the boulder because the skeletons will shoot you. And that's why we're going to take them out so they can't do anything to us. I'm going to cast Spook because there's some fall damage here. Now I don't know what happened to this other skeleton. I know there's 2 of them down here. I killed this one, but I couldn't find the other guy. I know there was another one. Maybe he just walked off and committed suicide, or who knows. But he's supposed to be here somewhere. But I don't see him. Dark Souls is weird like that. We can get a free backstab on this guy. And the boulder will go ahead and take care of this skeleton for you. And have him in prime position for another attack. You just take him out. Make sure you kill this guy right here. This guy with the hat. Kill him immediately. Don't let him run away. But if you approach like that, he won't get away from you. Want to wait for the boulder to come back down one more time, and you'll get your ultimate bonfire, your 4 out of 10. There's an ember up here. Once that boulder crashes, you'll get your next undead bone shard. This will be your 4th out of 10. Now for this next section, I don't deal with the skeletons. I just run past them. But I like to run forward until I hear them spawning. And then I cast Hidden Body and I run. Going to get the next ring, the 25th out of 107, the Carthus Milk Ring. I do kill this guy though. He'll throw those urns at you that have the pursuers. Now don't destroy any pots that have a lid on them and you won't get any pursuers at you. And there's the ring. Yeah, if you just take this path, you won't get any pursuers on you. Now I like to cast Hidden Body one more time, and I just don't deal with these guys. These guys will respawn, especially that guy right there. He's tough to deal with. There are going to be 2 more that are on patrol, but we're just going to run past them as well. You'll be grinding these guys for hours on end later, so don't worry, you'll get to kill them. Right now, not necessary. Be wary of the boulder here. There'll be a large shard here. We'll be stocking up on these pretty soon when we get to Smoldering Lake. That'll be in the next episode. Now I made a mistake here. I should have sat at the bonfire and regenerated my focus points, but I didn't for some reason. I guess because I had full Estus, I didn't think I needed it. This next section, you definitely want Carthus Rouge. Make sure you put that on immediately. You're going to need Carthus Rouge. And it helps to have the Lloyd's Shield Ring, the one that gives you extra protection from the first hit. Because Soreg, Nightslayer Soreg, does insane damage. Insane damage with his attacks. It doesn't matter what attack he does, he's going to wither your health bar down very quickly. Now in my Indiana Jones walkthrough, he was no problem for me because I had the whip. But this time I have a knife, and the knife is just not as good as the whip as far as range. So I'm going to go ahead and kill these rats. They'll bother you, and since we're invisible, they can't see us. And there's a mama rat over here as well. And another rat with the mama rat. But when you kill Sora, you get two things. You'll get Master of Expression, 22 out of 26, my thanks. Or if you die by him, you'll also get it. So you're going to get this no matter what. But when you kill him, you'll get this, and you'll get his ring, the Night Slayer ring. And we'll put that up on there in a second. But as soon as you come up here, he's going to spawn. The Night Slayer's ring will be your 26 out of 107. Now what I like to do to fight this guy is go over here where the boulder is. The boulder will hit him and cause quite a bit of damage on him. But more importantly, it gives you an opportunity to buff or attack. But you do want to kind of fight in this general area so you can dodge out of the way at the last second and get a free hit on him again with the boulder. But Carthus Rouge will bleed this guy out pretty damn quick. And we already do bleed damage on our dagger anyway. But this is the attack you want to wait for when he does his... If you notice he does 2 horizontal attacks, he's going to be open, and you can just keep hitting his shield anyway. It's going to break eventually, and you'll get more bleed proc there. Now he will hurt you quickly. As you can see, I kind of went guns blazing here. And sometimes that's just the best way to do it. But you'll get the gesture and the ring for killing him. Now, for this next section, there's some bone wheel skeletons and a bunch of slimes on the ceiling. I like to get my bow out because there's 2 slimes in particular you can't hit with fire bombs. But fire bombs are going to be the main way I get them down. They're littered all through this hallway. And the fire bandit knife is going to be helpful here. So my main thing is just going to throw a firebomb, get him to fall, then hit him with the bandit knife. The fire bandit knife. It just takes way too long to kill him with anything else. But since we're not making any noise, the skeletons will not be able to really notice us yet. Here's another case where I have to use the bow. But I'm pretty sure that's it. The rest of them can be destroyed with fire bombs. Now I switch to my sharp bandit knife, take out the skeletons. They're not... Fire doesn't do a lot of damage to them. So you want to switch back to your other weapon. What's your prize for going through this gauntlet of enemies? The next ring, of course. The Carthus Blood Ring. Increases your iframes, but increases your damage you take as well. That'll be your 27th out of 107 rings. Now I have to go back to the bonfire because for this next section I need focus points, and I don't know why I didn't sit at the bonfire, but I made a mistake, so I got to go sit at it to get my focus points back. And then I will tackle the next section, which will be where the Grave Warden's ashes are. And the skeleton that I can kill that will allow me to crack this boulder to get the next gem, too, that I need, the dark gem. And if for some reason it spawns a helpless crab. But yeah, I should have sat at the bonfire initially. I don't know why I didn't. Unfortunately, the rats are going to respawn now. But it's worth going this way because you'll also get another large Titanite shard. Forgot about the rat behind me. He's going to do a little nibble nibble. But we definitely want to take out this. These matrix skeletons are no joke, guys. These guys, they're one of the most annoying enemies in the entire game. They're so hard to hit. So I'm going to cheese the hell out of them here. There's the rat getting his little nibble on. Now, illusionary wall right here. The game wants you to go through that lighted area, but this is the way you want to go. There are a lot of skeletons patrolling these halls. We're going to use hidden body, get the ashes, deal with them accordingly. Our main goal is to get the guy with the pirate hat so that we can crack that boulder. 2 backstabs and a heavy attack should do it. Actually, 2 large shards up here. That's the first one. But yeah, this guy right here, he always seems to get away from me. Even if I use hidden body, he'll still get away. Just follow him around until he stops. And that will cause the boulders to break. But there's another skeleton here we need to take out. And that's going to be it. We're not going to fight any more skeletons in this hallway. We're just going to get the next large Titanite shard and get out of here. I like to cast Spook here so I don't have any fall damage. We're back down here again. Now for this next part, well, here's the here's your dark gem, and where's that helpless little crab? Now for this next part, this crystal lizard, I let him go. Usually he'll commit suicide, but all he has is a fire gem. But if you miss it, you can always respawn the crystal lizard by quitting out or going to a bonfire. But he got away from me. Very rare, because they don't usually go this way. But because I attacked it, it got stuck over here, and I just decided to deal with the skeleton. Didn't want to aggro him. So I didn't get the fire gem, but that's what the crystal lizard holds. But we don't really need any more fire gems anyway. But that's where it is if you want to get it. Something I've noticed. In this area, a bunch of skeletons will spawn, but if you sit here and attack them... Now, I don't know if it's because I have the slumbering dragon crest ring on and I'm not waking them all up, but there's only 2 here. Usually there's a bunch of them. But I've noticed this several times with my build, but I don't know if it's because I have that ring on or not. But usually there's a bunch of them. But you want to come over here and talk to Henri again. If she's not here, then you obviously didn't exhaust all of her dialogue in that previous section. She can't find Horus, but Horus is right there. Just look down. He's right there. You can literally see him. So just drop down here. We're not going to deal with him this episode. Now, you do not want to kill the boss. Do not kill the boss. Because if you do, right now, without killing Horus first, you will not get to finish Henri's questline as far as I've seen. Because she'll be disappeared. And you need to get the ring from her anyway, the ring of the evil eye. I like to cast Spook here. You could just climb down, but what fun is that? We're going to use Spook and drop. Now, another weird thing that happened in this session, I was trying to get the Mimic to fight the demon, but it's a good thing I didn't succeed because inadvertently I discovered a way to farm this Mimic. And this is the Mimic you'd want to farm too because it's closer to a bonfire than any of the other Mimics in the game as far as I've seen. And you want to get the Symbol of Avarice, and that's what we're going to get right now after we kill the demon. But there are a lot of respawning skeletons down there too, so it's kind of a pain. But initially I come over here and I hit the Mimic because I thought that the Mimic would go after the demon, but I guess because I had hidden body on, it didn't know what to do. Well, I didn't have it on right there, but I just dropped down here and the Mimic just runs off the edge and down into the section below me. I could not find the Mimic. At this point, I'm confused. I don't know where the Mimic is. I'm looking around to see where the Mimic is, because usually they fight each other, and usually the Mimic will win most of the time. But it's a good idea to not kill the Mimic. Do not kill this Mimic. I can't stress this enough. This is your easiest way of obtaining the Symbol of Avarice. If you do not have it yet, this is the Mimic you want to keep alive for it. And I'll show you how to get it in the end of this episode. But yeah, don't let the Mimic fight this demon. Instead, you want to kill the demon and all the skeletons down there and then deal with the Mimic, but I'll show you. The Mimic here is actually in a good position. I don't know if I could recreate where the Mimic went, but regardless, this Mimic is close to a bonfire, and that's what you want. But let's go ahead and deal with the demon. If you just get right on him, he's not a problem. I mean, I just get right up in between his legs. For some reason, I didn't get any damage from that. His AoE. But yeah, if you stay between his legs, he usually just can't even hit you. Now, at this point, I'm still confused. I haven't figured it out yet. I'm looking for the Mimic. I couldn't figure out where he was, because I was, oh, maybe he went back to his previous spawn point. No, he's not there. And then I was like, well, maybe he went over here by the bridge. Nope, he's not here either. At this point, I'm very confused, because I've never had this happen before. This is a first. It's like the Mimic usually either, when he dies, he leaves the black blade down behind, but I find him here. He's just sitting at the base of the stairs here. I was like, okay. So, yeah, I'm definitely scratching my head about this. So, there's skeletons here that will respawn. All of them have white eyes. So, I just don't want to deal with them here. So, I just run to the bonfire. And then I've decided to not kill the Mimic. I'm going to do a quick edit here because I went back to kill the Mimic and realized, you know what, maybe I should farm it. You'll need Undead Hunter Charms. Uses all 5 of them if you have to. Get the Crystal Rapier out for item discovery and get your coins out if you have any from patches. This did not take long, I think 3 attempts. And it doesn't take long to farm the Mimics like this because you don't have to sit at a bonfire to respawn the Mimic, because you're going to hit him with your bare fist, which won't kill the Mimic, obviously. But this was an ideal situation for me. If you throw an initial Hunter Charm, it'll just go to sleep and get you the initial item that it drops, the Black Blade. Now, I know I left 2 items behind here, but I just didn't want to spawn all the skeletons. So I'm going to come back next episode and get those 2 items. I think one is a shard, a large shard. And I think the other one's a soul item. But yeah, this couldn't have worked out better for me. Even if the Mimic isn't down here, you can go back to its initial spawn point. Just don't disturb it during the boss fight, and you'll be good. But you just want to farm this guy until he gives you the symbol of avarice. As soon as it rises up, throw an Undead Hunter Charm and just wait a few seconds. If it doesn't give it to you, then punch him again. And get ready to throw another Hunter Charm at him. Still didn't give it up. And we got it. And this is an item you definitely want to have. And you can actually miss out on it. So do not miss your opportunity to get this item. It will help you in every playthrough. And especially if you're going for all of the achievements or trophies. It increases item discovery and it gives you more souls. Although it does take your health away gradually. But there are ways to combat that. Not a big deal. Alright guys, we're going to go back to the Fire Link. Burn our undead bone shard, and that will be the episode. We'll give the handmaiden the shrine, handmaiden the ashes at the beginning of the next episode, and then we'll go through Smoldering Lake and Demon Ruins. See you guys in the next one.